Yo, this is the Scarcity Studios YouTube channel. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. And our sponsors at Alpha Claims and Hire Birmingham, the leading and best accident management company. Get a replacement car anywhere in 1 hour. I really appreciate you joining me today, and this is about updates to do with cannabis seizures in West Midlands and other stories as well. West Midlands Police have found 6,500 cannabis plants 4 days ago in a Walsall property. And at the end of April, they found 750 in a diamond banqueting suite in Wolverhampton. This has become a very common occurrence now for former bingo halls, banqueting suites and function rooms and pubs to be getting turned into cannabis factories. Before we talk about the main one, the 6,500 plants, the Diamond Banqueting Suite has been operating for over 80 years. It used to be a cinema and it's a grade 2 listed building, so they can't knock it down and they can't really alter it in any way. It was turned into a Mecca Bingo until 1983, and then it became a function room for various different Christmas parties, weddings, birthdays and other sorts of events. And I'm sure for the people of Wolverhampton has been the scene of many good memories over the years. And more recently, it hosted MMA fighting. And one of the last bookings was, I believe, last year for a wedding. But since lockdown, it's been shut down. And this has been a very common occurrence in relation to cannabis factories discovered throughout lockdown, where businesses that are just temporarily shut, sometimes for whatever reason, they've decided to then start growing cannabis. West Midlands Police said they arrested 4 people in that cannabis factory on Skinner Street, Wolverhampton at 3:40 on April the 29th. They were aged between 18 and 30 and they found them hiding in a lift shaft. So it's very rare for police to arrest people on the scene. And these are quite young men as well, so this may turn out to be an international operation, which is becoming more and more popular in the West Midlands. But this most recent one with 6.5 million, it was found in a Walsall property on Slaney Road. And from looking on Google Maps, I can see that Slaney Road is quite a residential area. There's some council properties and mainly houses, but they say it's a 40-room property that they found this in. So it could only be one of very few buildings on that road, but I'm not exactly sure which one. They say they found over 6,000 plants and the electrics that were wired were extensive and would have cost thousands of pounds and was a very professional setup. Police raided the property on Friday, May the 21st, 2021 in the Walsall area of the West Midlands, and the very high-end value in relation to what the police say is £6.5 million, so that's £1,000 a plant. They said they found it after they executed a warrant at a building in Slaney Road. No arrests were made and urgent inquiries were being pursued to find out who was involved. Like I said earlier, it's very rare to catch people. So 6,000 plants, that must have been every single floor. Pictures released by the police showed the wires, an array of meters coming from the property, bypassed in order to power the illegal factory. A spokesman for the Black Country Live said, "We were called to reports of a suspected cannabis factory at a property on Slaney Road in Walsall on Friday, May the 21st. The property was searched and the cannabis was found to be consisting of 6,000 plants that was taken off-site by police. The specialist cannabis disposal team were working at the scene along with Western Power Electrics to make the property safe." A member of the team wrote on Twitter that the find was massive and they found over 40 rooms in a very large building. So this surpasses the last biggest one they found in the banqueting suite in Wolverhampton city centre. These are all still in the West Midlands area and surround Birmingham city. West Midlands Police alone seized 90 million street value of cannabis in the last year, and they raided 398 farms. But at the same time, anything less than about 20 to 30 plants is not acknowledged in these statistics. So the real extent of how many cannabis plants are being grown, sometimes just at home, personal use, is not really recorded in the same way. And while in England, doors are being kicked off and raided for this, in Scotland, they have just made the first legal cannabis factory in their country. ITV News did a report on the 22nd of May where they were given access inside the medical cannabis farm. 11,000 square metres of greenhouse has been constructed in a secret area in Dumfries and Galloway. Well, it isn't secret if they've told you the general area. Owners of the facility say they are on track to be the first in the UK to produce it for a domestic market. At the moment, patients with medical cannabis prescriptions have to wait for it to be imported from abroad like Holland. And since medical cannabis use has been legalised in 2020, patients have said that it still is very hard to get it prescribed on the NHS as well, and forcing patients to go private, which would also mean by obtaining it illegally. When this is at full capacity, it will be producing 16 tons of medical cannabis every single year. And that is enough to satisfy the whole of Germany. And the industry is fast growing, and this is what I was saying last time when I was speaking about it. I'm aware there's certain exceptions that are being made for medical cannabis, but across the board it's still very difficult for people with mild ailments that need cannabis to just take away arthritis pains or something like that. They will struggle to get a prescription from the doctor. The cannabis industry in the UK is set to be worth £2.3 billion by 2024 in the latest research and estimates. So in one country, they're finding ways to be able to make money from it in relation to the government getting taxes from it. And a few miles past the border into England, and there has been more arrests in relation to cannabis and drugs. On Wednesday the 19th of May, police and the Metropolitan Crime Command involved in a multi-agency operation, in an operation that was spread from London to Lincolnshire. This is county lines, and the intelligence, they said, is based on months of planning to combat and get these drugs off the street. The operation, they said, involved a commercial container in Essex, and they found more than 200 containers that was opened and searched by the police. They found 3 stolen vehicles, they said, also find cash and firearms. There was 2 firearms, and they arrested several people, and the guns have been sent off to test. A man was arrested at the container, and several other people were arrested later on and remain in custody. Detective Sergeant Owen Morgan from the Metropolitan Crime Drug Focus Desk said that this is a major development in an operation that we're working on, and several other raids recovered cannabis and also Class A drugs. They discovered several £1,000s as well in one property, and one man has been arrested for the proceeds of crime. So that is months and months of work there. But at the same time, there's not a lot of drugs that have been seized, or they would have told you. So I really appreciate you joining me for this episode, and I really want to hear what people have to say on this. This video would not be advertised on by YouTube, so I'd really appreciate it if you took the time to support it and like the video and share. Thank you. Peace.